Back with you on Hittin Hard with Jon Chuckery here on Locked On Sports Atlanta. Remember, head over to youtube.com, put Locked On Sports Atlanta into your search browser. When you find us, hit the subscribe button, leave us a comment there. And of course, free and available on all of your favorite podcast platforms. Download us today, Spotify, Odyssey, whatever your favorite is. Hit us there with a 5-star review. And of course, follow me on my personal Twitter page at JMCH316. Last night, remember we talked I don't know, a few days, a week ago, whatever it was, about the impact that the Braves have two of the top rookies, if not the top two rookies in the National League. Always remember, we're ahead of the curve here on this particular show. But Spencer Strider, last night it was about the rookies because Michael Harris hit the game-tying home run, and you're hoping that maybe he could walk it off until that guy made that great catch out in center field. But Spencer Strider was the man last night. Struck out the first 9 guys for outs. Did not record an out that wasn't a strikeout until the 4th inning of that game. 6 innings, 100 pitches, few hits, but no runs, and 12 strikeouts in the game tonight. Now, Strider on the year, this is a remarkable number. 65 2/3 innings with 102 strikeouts. By the way, he leads the Braves in number of strikeouts. He's actually one ahead of Charlie Morton now for a guy who's only made 8 starts. Pitched in 19 games, but has only made 8 starts this season. Now, the question becomes, and it was interesting because I had this discussion with a guest of mine that covers the Braves yesterday. We were trying to figure out the idea of how far can Spencer Strider go. Let me throw a couple of things out at you just to give you some context because, as we say in the wrestling world, context is king. In a couple of years at Clemson, when he pitched there, 2018, he pitched 51 innings. In 2020, he pitched in 12 innings. So he barely pitched in college, didn't have a whole lot of work in college. And then he got drafted. And then last year, in 4 different organizations, he played for Gwinnett, Mississippi, Rome, and Augusta. So he went all through their system, right? A ball, double A ball, triple A ball. He went all through their system. In total, he only pitched 94 innings last year. Most of the innings he pitched were in Mississippi with 63 innings. So that's where he made the bulk of his starts. He made 14 starts for Mississippi last year and pitched in a total of 63 innings. And then he had only 1 inning at Gwinnett, 14 in Rome, 15 in Augusta. So all told, he only pitched 94 innings in his first professional season. He's already at 65 2/3 innings. How far can he go? Because I do think it is very realistic to start having the discussion about making sure that Spencer Strider is stretched out and ready to go, not just as we're in the second half, but most importantly is you want him for the playoffs, obviously. Whether that's he's going to make a start, whether that he comes out of the bullpen, whatever his role is going to be. And right now, it would probably be a start. Can you imagine Spencer Strider in a playoff scenario? Because in the playoffs, obviously, the number one thing I look for out of a pitcher in a playoff game, do you have swing and miss stuff? Can you record outs without contact? That's my big thing about playoff baseball. Give me a guy who throws hard and gets a lot of outs with contact. It's not coincidence that guys like John Smoltz were very successful in the playoffs, or Randy Johnson were very successful in the playoffs. Give me swing and miss stuff every day over even the Tom Glavines or the Greg Maddoxes and things like that. So Strider's very intriguing from that standpoint, but you do have to start thinking about how much do we work this kid? And obviously, where he started in the bullpen in the very first half of the year and converted to a starter, there's none of that now. He's one of your starters. In fact, and this may sound crazy, but is he your 3rd best starter? If I have Fried and Kyle Wright, is he better than Morton? Is he better than Ian Anderson? I think he's definitely better than Ian Anderson right now. If you told me hand the ball to one guy and it's Anderson or Strider, I'd give the ball to Strider right now. Now, Morton has been more consistent here lately than he was in the early part of the year. I'm going to chalk up his early season struggles to 2 things. One is he didn't get much of a spring training, and 2, he was coming off of injury. So we'll talk more about this here in just a second. But hey, have you got a bunch of these subscriptions? Right? We've got Netflix and Hulu and Disney and all these different things. Have you got a whole bunch of these subscriptions that you literally don't realize that you have, and you haven't looked at how much money you're spending every month? Well, I'm here to talk to you about Truebill. Truebill is a new app that helps you identify and stop paying for subscriptions that you don't need, you don't want, or simply forgot about. On average, the average person saves about $720 a year with Truebill. And right, look, we're all in this digital world, right? I mean, it's ESPN Plus, and we got Disney, and we got this, and we got that. Half this stuff we don't even know about. Sometimes we have subscriptions that we don't even remember that we signed up for, and a girlfriend's got our, or an ex-wife or whatever. Somebody else has our password to something and is still using it for something that we don't remember and signed up for. Truebill is here to help you. People save all kinds of money with Truebill. Don't fall for subscription scams. Start canceling today at Truebill.com and go to Truebill.com/LockedOnNBA. That's Truebill.com/LockedOnNBA. You can save thousands of dollars a year by doing this. Like I said, the average person saves $720, but a lot of us don't realize what we have and what we don't have as far as subscription goes. So go to Truebill.com/LockedOnNBA today and start saving some money. But right now, I would tell you that if I've got one game to simply my third option. Now, could Strider pitch himself into 120 innings? That's like a lot, doesn't it? For a guy who only pitched 94 innings last year, and remember, Strider is so young, and it's more than just saying, well, he's young and flexible, handle this and this, that, and the other. It is a little bit different for pitchers, right? And especially guys who throw hard. Never really racked up a whole bunch of innings. You have to get your arm kind of accustomed to that. You know, if you're a guy throwing 100 miles an hour, I don't care if it is very, you know, you have to ton of that and things like that. Throwing 100 miles an hour is throwing 100. And there does come a point where your arm isn't used to a whole bunch of those things. We're probably not quite at that point just yet, as we're only into the early part of July here. But I do think that it is something to watch. And for instance, you know, I think that they are going to try to push Strider a little bit more. Last night, it wasn't so much, but he did hit 100 pitches. He hit 100 pitches. Thing too is understand that when a guy strikes out a lot of people, his pitch count is going to go up. If you're striking out 12, 14, 15 guys, you ain't a whole lot of one pitch. You ain't throwing a pitch to it, pops it up to second base. You start striking a bunch of guys out, you are racking up some additional pitch counts. And he walked a couple of guys, gave up a few hits and things like that. So you're going to just naturally have your pitch count go up because of the style you pitch out of all of it. But it will be interesting to see, can Strider get, you know, 100, 120 innings this year? But most importantly is you have to think about making sure that his arm is ready to go come playoff time. And depending on how this thing shakes out in the second half, I mean, if right now I said Max Fried and Kyle Wright, that's my 1-2 guys in my starting rotation. Who knows if by September to October, we don't talk about Strider being the guy that I want third in that rotation. Well, you better make sure that he's ready to go at that point and ready for playoff baseball. So this will be interesting to monitor. We'll see how Snitker handles it, but don't be surprised if you don't see some skips and starts and things like that for Strider as we move into August and head to September. All right, when we come back on the show, it's time for the Falcons to get some love from Canton. We'll talk about that next. It's Hitting Hard with Jon Chuckery on Locked On Sports Atlanta.